liked very much this, as I told you, this idea of re-thing, and this wonderful tension between the subjective and the objective. That in fact I have this very strong feeling in the last years, and of course this neoliberal, where our relations are built on economy and often on economics, that there's this objectification of the human being, that we are turned into producers and consumers in such an exaggerated way and in such a total way that subjectivity, which has often been the source of creativity, innovative thinking, transformations, even revolutions, have often begun with subjective places, and there is this danger when we start talking about cultural policy that we kind of we put so many rules onto it. We objectify. How many theaters do we have? How many performances? How many festivals? How much money? That this objectification is somehow destructive for what the real function of art is. I don't know how you feel about that. It must be a tension for you as you enter into this. You go from being a critic and a philosopher and whatever other roles you play to actually being a state secretary, engaging in it directly.
But it was exactly the question that I asked myself today in the beginning. Do we have the tools to transform our things into our thoughts into some things? And of course it was a play of word, but I think there is a hidden truth behind it's that we already have a lot of concepts to understand and everything, but then sometimes we have the feeling that when the conference ends, we don't know whether to go to the street or to sing International or to go read more. And this, as in psychoanalysis they would say, passage à l'acte. Passage à l'acte is missing. And I think if you try to understand that we can act or react in different ways, not just making structures or sculpture, but also that piece of floor could be an act that would open a new horizon, or sometimes simply to educate, I would say, a class of children. That when we are talking about art, we are not necessarily talking about creative industry, that we are talking about something mysterious. My point today was, and it's very interesting when you asked us to watch each other. I used Badiou as a kind of ethics that I believe in. And his point is that, because he's comparing art with love and politics and science, he says when two are in love, then they don't watch each other like in the eyes because they're lost there. They create a kind of new subject that is watching the world differently. And it's very, I mean, everybody of us that has been in love knows that once you perceive the world differently, it's some things that are completely banal before you see differently. So these kind of strange events, I wanted to put it today in my speech.
But I stay with this metaphor of love, because I think it's interesting, because one of the things that, how do we say, good love, love that works, love that feels right, is also, you enter into a relationship with somebody because you're asking them to help change you. I want to be changed. I don't just want to be mirrored. I don't go looking for the person who confirms me as I am. I look for the person who questions me, throws me off balance, sends me, and this is again connecting love and art, that this is really, because I don't go to artworks to confirm my worldview.
To change the perspective.
I go to in order to be threatened in some way, and not threatened physically, of course, but threatened in the sense that my ground shakes, and I have to refine my balance, and this process, like a gyroscope of refining your balance of it.
From rethink to redo, where this shift might happen after having so much reflection. One conference is not enough, definitely. But where do you think you two can start? And you as a policymaker and you as an individual member of civil society, where do we can start from?
Most of the reactions I had today from the colleagues were about the education. And to be very honest, when we were kids, art was part of the school programs. And I was quite surprised that when my daughters went to school, they didn't still have it. So one of our very concrete tasks, and we are doing this for the last 2 years, is kind of reintroduce but the culture as a functional tool. You know, because usually the teacher will say, oh yes, yes, of course, we have movies, but in order to learn English or history. No, but let's learn about movies. Or not to use painting just to show something from literature, but the painting itself. So this, and here you can be pragmatic. You can, you know, finance programs. Here you can educate the educators and all this stuff. And the second thing is what we maybe neglect a little bit inside our ministry is this kind of community work. I really think that if we leave this only to the local community, it's not enough. We have to be a partner in this development because the basic things are happening there. And I see we have, if I might be very personal, I have a very good example of a guy who was inside the Ministry of Culture, knowing all the know-how, going to the cultural sector of the capital of Ljubljana, now making miracles there because it's faster there. It's less bureaucracy. It's you know, you can, and this combination of I would say a broader perspective that knows how the tools are doing and fieldwork is perfect for moving things.
Okay, thanks.
I mean, I would put my focus, and I continue to put my focus, and I think it should be both the focus of policy and the focus of artistic endeavor, and that is the audience itself. The people who we are trying to affect. You said the children in the schools. This is certainly a significant part of our population that we want to re-stimulate or re-thingy them. But I think that there's not enough concentration there. The artists are talking about what conditions they need to do their work. The arts organizations, the institutions, we need more money, we need more space, we need more. And the politicians are saying, yes, but in order to get more money, more space, you have to do very certain things. You have to tell us why, objectively, why all of that investment is actually going to give us a return on the investment socially. And somehow the person who gets stuck in this shooting duel between the artists and the policymakers or the politicians is the audience themselves. Does anybody really go in and try to find out what they want? I can give one very clear example of this, and that is when I was the director of the National Touring Theatre in Sweden for a few years. There was a research done, a normal audience research. Why are you here? What do you like? What would you like to see? And of course the question, major question that these arts researchers asked was, what would you like to see for theatre? What kind of theatre would you like to see? And the audience answers, as we expected, comedies, musicals, my favorite TV personality should tour, etc., etc. And I suggested, as they were making the research, I suggested, but please, let's ask the following question. What have you seen in the last few years that deeply touched you? And what happened was that we found a great dichotomy in the answers, because people said, naturally, what do you want? I want comedies, I want classics, I want musicals. But when you asked what were you really deeply touched by, it was tragedies, it was newly written Swedish drama, that is written by, in our time, contemporary, my life, my narrative today. It was amateur performances, that they were touched by people in their community who told their stories. And so suddenly you realize that the audience has been confused. We've been selling them things, and they think they want that. But actually, what's really touching them is something else. And we have to concentrate on that part of the audience, that subjective part of the audience. What is it that they might not yet know that they want, that we can give them, that makes them wake up? Again, this flash on the shoulder.
Really, 100%.